And I also hope that you are having a good day so far. So for today, we shall be doing, or we will be doing, our grade 6 English lesson on dashes. So we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on dashes, like a dash, in it's like a form of punctuation mark. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, and how to use dashes when we are writing. And we will be doing our lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So you are going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. You're going to log in with your username as well as your password. You're then going to select the subject of language arts, grade 6. And then you're going to scroll down up until you get to the chapter of dashes. And the lesson that we will be doing is use dashes. All right, so our chapter is dashes, grade 6, and we are going to be using dashes. So use dashes. And our lesson that we are doing is on aplusstudents.ca. So aplusstudents.ca, that is where we will be doing our lessons on. So if you want to go back again and recap on our lessons that we're either doing today or some other times, and then you can just go to aplusstudents.ca, follow the chapter, grade, as well as the lesson, and then you'll be able to recap on what we did. So when it comes to dashes, right? Dashes are used to separate words or group of words. So dashes are used to separate group of words. So it does not separate parts of the word like a hyphen does, but it separates the group of words. And there are three kinds of dashes, right? So we have three kinds of dashes, which is the M dash, the N dash, and the double hyphen, right? And most of the common types of dashes are the N dashes and the M dashes. But for now, we are just focusing on dashes that are used to separate words or groups of words. So it is not separating parts of the words, but it is separating groups of words, right? That is a dash. And if we go back to our tutorial, where we will get a more understanding or idea of dashes with examples. So a dash often represents a pause in a sentence. So it often represents a pause within a sentence. And the dash can show a clear break or set of extra content from the rest of the sentence, such as an aside, an explanation, or an additional details. So if you maybe write your sentence and now you want to add additional information, and then sometimes you can just put a dash and put additional information, or we can have additional almost like details to whatever that is being spoken about. And according to legend, King Midas ultimately died of starvation, all because of his wish that everything he touched should turn gold. So, which means that if we look at the there where the dash is after the dash, it's like giving us an additional details. It's giving additional details of, let's say, the death of, or the reason of the death. So, according to legend, King Midas ultimately died of starvation. So, that is usually straightforward, right? So, we know that he died of starvation. But now they're giving us an additional explanation or details, and they're saying all because of his wish that everything he touches turns or should turn to gold. To gold. And our dash over here, it basically just shows a clear break before giving us more details. Then Warren strives to control every aspect of his life. So he tries to control every aspect of his life, but life, surprise, surprise, doesn't always accommodate his wishes. And in this case, the dashes sit off and aside from the rest of the sentence. So Warren strives to control every aspect of his life, but life, surprise, surprise, doesn't always accommodate his wishes. And in this case, surprise, surprise, it doesn't always accommodate his wishes. It's almost like to put emphasis on it. And I think that is probably where they say the exclamation. Certain quirks, repeatedly washing one's hands, checking that doors are locked, or counting things, may actually be symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder. So certain quirks, it's like it's like things that you do constantly, right? It's things that you do repeatedly without even realizing that you're constantly repeatedly doing it. So certain quirks, repeatedly washing your hands, checking that doors are locked, or counting things, right? It may actually be symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder. And when we talk, right, like in a dialogue or a quoted text, then we can, then basically a dash can indicate an interruption or mid sentence correction. So then the dash, it indicates an interruption or a mid sentence correction. That is not either in conversation, in dialogue, or in a quoted text. And for example, Lauren protested, but no, you are mistaken. And there it shows an interruption. But no, you were mistaken. All right, so now we're going to do some questions. We need to insert a dash where needed. The astronomer, with his eye at the telescope, said, I see Mercury about 10 degrees above. Look at that comet. So the astronomer, with his eye at the telescope, said, I see Mercury above 10 degrees about the wow, look at that comet. So I think it's here by the wow. Let's double check. At the wow. Yes. So which means that we had to add it after the for wow. So the astronomer with his eye at the telescope said, I see Mercury about 10 degrees above the wow. Look at that comet. So there we have wow, which indicates a pause. We need to add dashes where needed. Beneath the church of Santa Maria della Concesione in Rome, Italy, lies a burial chamber, a six-room crypt filled with the skulls and other bones of about 4,000 monks. So we need to add the correct dashes where needed. So we will then say insert a dash before a six-room crypt. So beneath the church of Santa Maria della in Rome, Italy, lies a burial chamber. We pause a bit. A six-room crypt filled with the skulls and other bodies of about 4,000 monks. So that is where we added our dashes. Over there, next to chamber, and by six room. We'll use the town of Killarney as our base, the Irish tour guide said. There we have our dash already. Then we'll head out to, oh, how about the Dingle Peninsula? I'm not sure if we should basically, let's say, add our apostrophe over there too. All right. Yes. So we'll use the town of Killarney as our base, the Irish tour guide said. Then we'll head out to, oh, how about the Dingle Peninsula? So thereby, oh, before we like, for example, show the exclamation or the expression, how about the Dingle Peninsula? All right, let's do our test. So we're not going to do our test, right? Where we're going to insert one dash where needed. One dash. Miss Gregory studied both business and fine arts in college, a combination that makes sense to those who knows who know her as the owner of a highly successful art supply store. Or is it Miss Gregory studied both business and fine arts in college? A combination that makes sense to those who know her as the owner of the highly successful art supply store. So we need to put one dash where needed, either by option one or by option two. All right, so option two is mentioned, right? So if we choose option two, which is by needs to make sense and college, let's see, option two. So basically it is option one because they only ask us to add one dash, but it's fine. Guys, if we do make any mistakes, right? And then because the questions can be very tricky as well as the answers, then you go to where the correct answer is, copy the link, send it to us, and then you will get 100 bonus points. But for trying, well done. Well done. We need to only add one dash where needed. I plan to climb the highest peaks on all seven continents in, yes, in 6 months, the climber told the news reporter over the phone. Or is it I plan to climb the highest peaks of all seven continents in, yes, in 6 months, the climber told the news reporter over the phone. So now we need to also select one of the options, right? Where we had to add one dash where needed. And usually the dash is added where there's a pause or an exclamation or extra details that is being answered, right? So let's try number one. Because number one, the first one says, I plan to climb the highest peaks on all seven continents in, yes, in 6 months. So let's try option one because there's a pause by yes. So option one it is. So we need to add two dashes where needed. So two dashes now. When cross-country skiers legs aching and lung burning cross the finish line of a race, they often collapse like rag dolls. Or is it when cross country is it not skiers or skies? Skiers legs aching and lungs burning cross the finish line of the race, they often collapse like rag dolls. So we need to choose the two. Is it finish line? All right, let us choose one at least. So when cross country skiers' legs aching and lungs burning cross the finish line of a race, they often collapse like rag dolls. Let's try the option of option two. Because finish line is just one word, finish and line. Mount Rainiers Liberty Ridge Mount Rainiers Liberty Ridge climbing route is known for its amazing views and technical difficulties, not to mention its long history of mountaineering accidents. So we now need to select one dash where needed. So if we look at the two options that we have in front of us, and then we can maybe choose, are we saying we're choosing option one? And option one is correct, so well done. This painting is meant to pay tribute to women throughout society. I mean, throughout history, the painter explained. Or is it option two? This painting is meant to pay tribute to women throughout society, I mean, throughout history, the painter explained. So which means that I still go with option one, where there's a pause after society. So it's like this painting is meant to pay tribute to women throughout society. Pause. I mean, throughout history, the painter explained. So let's try option one, and option one is correct. We need to add a dash where needed. That tooth doesn't, ouch. Yes, it does hurt. Brooke said as the dentist stepped on her lower left molar. Or is it the second option, which is that tooth doesn't, ouch. Yes, it does hurt, Brooke said as the dentist tapped on her lower molar. So that tooth doesn't, ouch. Yes, it does hurt, but Brooke said as the dentist tapped on her lower left molar. So we must not choose one of these two options. Or is it that tooth doesn't, ouch. Yes, it does hurt. Let us choose option two. Gives me option two vibes. Option two. And option two is correct because there we have a pause that says it doesn't, ouch. Salmon hatch is fresh water and migrate to the ocean. So though they eventually return to fresh water to spawn and die. Or is it salmon hatch in fresh water and migrate to the ocean through, though they eventually return to fresh water to spawn and die? Salmon. And the first one is salmon hatch in fresh water migrate to the ocean. Though, like it feels like they're giving us additional information over here. And that is correct. Because that word though, it's like it's giving us additional information. We need to insert one dash where needed. One dash. The proceeds will support our, yes, 100% of the proceeds will support our efforts to protect endangered species, explained the chair of fundraising committee. Or do we choose option two, which is the proceeds will support our, yes, 100% percent of the proceeds will support our efforts to protect endangered species. Let's try option one. Try. And it is correct. It is there where we said yes, because that is where the pause is, or the pause was. Beneath the Church of Santa Maria della Cons in Rome, Italy, lies a burial chamber, a 6-room crypt filled with the skulls and other bones of about 4,000 monks. Or option two, which is beneath the Church of Santa Maria della in Rome, Italy, lies a burial chamber, a 6-room crypt filled with the skulls and other bones of about 1,000 monks. So if we choose, then we'll choose the second option. Yes, because here it shows a pause. The new DNA evidence suggests that the kiwi, a small flightless bird found in New Zealand, is closely related to the enormous extinct elephant bird. So DNA evidence suggests that the kiwi, a small flightless bird found in New Zealand, is closely related to the enormous extinct yellow bird. The horizon. So always at the second option. The new DNA evidence suggests that the kiwi, a small flightless bird found in New Zealand, is closely related to the enormous extinct elephant bird. Let's try option one. Where's option one? And there we have it. Because New and Zealand cannot be separated by a dash. We need to insert one dash where needed. One dash only. The trade unions presidents was voted into office by a resounding majority. At least that's the story they gave. All right. So basically, both of these are at the same place. Oh no, it is not, because the one is next to majority and the other one is next to at. So it says the trade union's president was voted into office by a resounding majority. At least that's the story they gave. Or the trade unions represent president was voted into office by a resounding majority. At least that's the story they gave. Let us do option one. Seems very. All right, so that is correct. So we need to insert one dash where needed. Only one dash. So Miss Wilkerson studied both business and fine arts in college, a combination that makes sense to those who know her as the owner of the highly successful art supply store. Or is it Mrs. Wilkerson studied both business and fine arts in college? A combination that makes sense to those who how know her as the owner of a highly successful art supply store. Let's choose option 2, which is the pause of the college. Because now it means that additional information is being added on after that other part. The art festival features face painting, food vendors, live music, oh, and fireworks, Danelle said. Or is it the art festival features face painting, food vendors, live music, and oh, and fireworks, Danelle said. So if we look at the sentence, right, we need to insert the dash we needed. Actually, the dash is already here. We just need to say, like, yes. So we need to, if we put the dash, and we'll choose option 1. Because it says, the art festival features face painting, food vendors, live music, oh, and fireworks. All right. So now we need to put 2 dashes where needed. 2 dashes. At Sunfest Organic Farm, a cutting edge herb farm in Okeechobee, Florida, the herbs are washed with ultraviolet light in a vacuum sealed room. Or is it option 2? At Sunfest Organic Farm, a cutting edge herb farm in Okeechobee, Florida, the herbs are washed and ultraviolet light in a vacuum sealed room. So I think it is option 2. Because even here, it is after the Sunface Organic Farm. Pause. A cutting edge with herb farm. Yeah, so option 2. If you also have option 2, then well done. Because option 2 is correct. We'll use the town of Killarney as our base, the Irish tour guide said. Then we'll head out to, oh, how about the Dingle Peninsula? Or is it option 2, which is we'll use the town of Killarney as our base, the Irish tour guide said. Then we'll head out to that, oh, how about the Dingle Peninsula? So we need to choose the dash. Is it option 1 or option 2? Which one has the dash correctly placed? All right, so we're going to say let's choose option 1, right? Option 1. Street vendors in the Philippines prepare iso NG manok, marinated chicken intestines that are grilled or deep fried and served with spicy, sour, or sweet sauces. So the street vendors in the Philippines prepare iso NG manok, marinated chicken intestines that are grilled or deep fried and served with spicy, sour, or sweet sauces. So we need to choose either option 1 or option 2. All right, let's try option 2 to try. All right, so it is actually option 1. Manok marinated chicken intestines. So we need to choose 2 dashes where needed. 2 dashes where needed. The aptly named Petite Pont. So the aptly named Petite Pont, a bridge in Paris just 65 feet wide, used 105 feet long, crosses the Seine at a point that has been used as a river crossing since the days of Julius Caesar. So we need to choose 2 dashes. So the aptly named Petite Pont, a bridge in Paris just 65 feet wide and 100 feet long, crosses the Seine at a point that has been used as a river crossing since the day of Julius Caesar. Or is it the option 2, which is the aptly named Petite Pont, a bridge in Paris just 65 feet wide and 105 feet long, crosses the Seine at the point that has been used as a river crossing since the days of Julius Caesar. I do. Let's choose option 1. And option 1 is correct. Option 1 is correct. So now we need to choose 2 dashes. Remember, a dash, it shows a pause, right? Tim Samaras, the legendary storm chaser killed by a deadly tornado in 2013, was known for his daring missions to collect data from passing storms. So we need to choose 2. So Tim Samaras, the legendary storm chaser killed by the deadly tornado in 2013, was known for his daring missions to collect data from passing storms. Or is it Tim Samaras, The legendary storm chaser, killed by a deadly tornado in 2013, was known for his daring missions to collect data from passing storms. So I think in this case, we are heading more towards option one. And that one is correct. We need to add two dashes where needed. Colombian diver Colombian diver Orlando Ducure, a nine-time world champion, plunged off a 95-foot precipice in Portugal to take school in the 2012 Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. So we need to choose two where needed. Colombian diver, a nine-time champion, second in the 2012 Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. So now we need to choose two dashes. Is it option one or option two? Mm-mm. So if we choose the correct option, what do you think is the correct option where we have to add a dash? Colombian diver Orlando Ducure, a nine-time world champion, plunge off a 95-foot precipice in Portugal. Let us try option one. Oopsie. All right, so yeah, we chose option one, right? So sometimes what happens is that if you choose the correct answer, then you can go to where the correct answer is, choose that answer, select on it, copy it, and send it to us, which is A plus students, and you will get 100 bonus points because it can be a bit tricky. World Fish Migration Day. It is an annual event spearheaded by the Nature Conservancy, the World Wildlife Fund, and others, aims to raise awareness of migratory fishing around the world. Mm-mm-mm. So two dashes. Is it the first one, which is World Fish Migration Day, an annual event, or and others aim to raise awareness? Where is the second one? Aims to raise awareness of. I would go for option one. My opinion. So it is option one. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson. That is the end of our lesson on dashes. Um, grade 6. So thank you very much, grade 6, for joining our class, which is dashes. Thank you for the interaction and hoping to see you next time or to hear from you next time. Goodbye.